It is 7 o'clock, so I am going to get us started. Welcome, everybody, to the Lee School Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, June 15th, 2021 at 7 o'clock. We are all here today in the Lee Middle and High School Library. This is our first official meeting that we are all present at. Pursuant to MGLC 30A Section 20, I am hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. Is anybody else recording? I don't think so, because it doesn't look like anybody else is here. Okay, so let's stand to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Oops. Okay, the mission statement. The mission of Lee Public Schools is to ensure students have the opportunities to develop the social, civil, and critical thinking skills to thrive in an ever-changing world. I'm assuming we need to do this roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Brenda?
Mr. Robbins.
Here.
Mr. Kinnis.
Here.
Mrs. Short. Here. Mrs. Lucy.
Here.
Mr. Nichols.
Here.
Mrs. Wadsworth. Here. Ms. Larman.
Here. Okay, next up on our agenda is the approval of the May 11th, 2021 Lee School Committee meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 11, 2021 school committee meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think that was everybody.
You just-
Oh, all opposed. Okay. Motion carries. Thank you, Andrea. I gotta get used to this new, I'll get there, it's the new way. I need a cheat sheet. Okay, next up, we have public input with Randy.
Yes, members of the public are invited to address the committee. At this time, issues raised will normally be referred to the administration or a subcommittee of the school committee.
Okay, Kathy Hall can't be here tonight. She's usually our public representative. But she's asked me to read out some updates for people with regards to the Lee Library. They are open for walk-ins Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday, June 18th is the start of the Tales and Tales Summer Reading Program. Come on in and sign up. Sharon Sitter Photography, Birds is on display for the month of June in the J. Peter Scafaro Gallery. Come along with Wally on an interactive reading adventure on June 29th at 3 p.m. He'll be showing kids how to use sounds, actions, and imagination to make books come alive. The Lee Chamber of Commerce, their next community cleanup is Saturday, June 26th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the Lee Youth Commission, they are working on the athletic playground, and it's tentatively scheduled for Saturday, July 10th, and they need volunteers to spread mulch and paint picnic tables. Anybody else? All right. And it looks like we do not have a student representative here this evening. So that moves us on to our chair report. Which is going to be short and sweet. So my first thing is I would like to welcome our new members. We are a committee of 7 again, so welcome Nicole and Kirk. Thank you so much for giving of your time to be part of our committee. I hope you enjoy your time with us. We are grateful for you to be here. And our second update is our SMART goals. We no longer have a tentative date. We have a date. For June 26th, we will be here in the room that we were meeting in before, room 119, which is over by the superintendent's office. We will be here from 12 to 2, so those of you that can come and join us, please do so. My hope is that we can go through them, get them set and ready, and then bring them back to the next school committee meeting so that we can put them to a vote. So for those of you that can come, that would be great. I did send out a calendar invite for those of you that like a calendar invite, Randy. So it's there if you want to accept it. I can send it out to you too. I didn't have you weren't part of us yet, but I will send it out to, I'm making myself a note right now.
Thank you.
And I can also send you guys out I sent out calendar invites for the monthly meetings as well. I can send those to you guys as well. It just helps everybody sort of keep track of what's going on. So those are my 2 updates. That's the end of my report for this month. So I am going to hand it over to Mr. Richard for his superintendent's report, which I believe is behind us. So I'm going to turn my back on you.
That's okay. Good evening and thank you for the time. I'll try to be as efficient as I can with everybody's time as we move through this. So the enrollment as of June 1st, there was no change in terms of our numbers. We did have 1 additional second grader and a school choice student moved out of state. So there was some fluctuation in terms of where the students are, but not the numbers of students. So we feel pretty good about that going into next year. Quick personnel update. As you know, Kate Retzel gave her resignation as she moves on to challenge herself in professional ways in another district. We went through a hiring process for her replacement. The end result was that Mr. Tim Mertnick was offered the position, has accepted that position, and he's looking forward to starting on July 1st. To replace Tim in his work as Dean of Students at LES, we've got a job posting up. We're accepting applications for that. At this point, we've got just about half a dozen applicants, but we welcome more. That's a great job, a great opportunity for anyone in or around Berkshire County to really work with students and to be challenged in new ways each and every day. So that's where we are relative to some personnel. Quick COVID-19 update. We had our vaccination clinic on site today. We had 30 individuals from the community vaccinated, so that was good. Included in that were actually a couple of students who had already gotten their first vaccination. Curative, who's running the mobile clinic, was able to do some research check to see if they've met the timeline to get their second dose. They did indeed meet that timeline, so they were able to be accommodated today.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, it was really, really good. But I caution everybody to remember, right? We're not out of the woods here yet. We've got a long ways to go. Our vaccination rates in Lee, as I shared with the community, we've got about 20% of our students, our youngest students, already vaccinated. We've got about 60% of others vaccinated, but we need to make sure that we continue to wash hands, wear masks, and watch our distance. Pool testing, we had our final pools of the school year conducted yesterday. Last week's tests were all negative. That's great news. That shows, again, some adherence to some of those guidelines, but we can't let our guard down. We've got to stay positive. Special thanks to County Ambulance, who was actually cited by the state as a sort of an honorable mention for the lengths that they travel to make sure that testing gets submitted to the final resource. I'm not sure what it's called, where they have to go, but they're doing yeoman's work.
They go to the Broad Institute in Boston.
All right, so they go to Broad. So they're going from Pittsfield to Boston.
They have to do it in a day. They're pretty good, yeah.
So they need some recognition. So thank you to everyone at County Ambulance. The strategic plan, also known as the district improvement plan, the team has met. The number hasn't changed since the last meeting. We were scheduled to meet last week, but there were lots of people who had some prior obligations that pulled them away. So the decision was, I'm reaching out to subcommittee chairs. I'm going to aggregate the information that they've had from their subcommittee meetings and share it out with the greater team. We're looking at taking a little bit of a hiatus this summer. The work will continue, but probably the number of meetings won't be as frequent to give people an opportunity to enjoy their summers. But we're going to continue here in the school district, keep that work moving forward. Update on ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. Finalizing the ESSER 2 application in the next couple of weeks, and again, the focus is going to be on social emotional wellness, instructional support for students, and addressing learning loss, specifically through summer school. Those are requirements by the government of how some of the ESSER 2 funds can be used, and so we are examining all of our opportunities carefully. When it comes to ESSER 3 in the American Rescue Plan, we've got to, there's some additional, I want to call them strings attached to this. One, importantly, public input is required before we write the plan, before we can submit the plan for approval. So I'm putting together a survey that will be shared with all stakeholders in the Lee Public Schools community that they can provide some feedback about where they think the priorities are relative to some of those things up top that are listed around social emotional wellness and instructional supports and learning loss. But there's other opportunities around technology and investment and where do we want to take this. The good news is so much of this blends with what's being done for the district improvement plan and strategic improvement plan. So we're going to be able to take these data and the findings and the feedback that we get from stakeholders and share it out with those people who are working on that plan so that we can be comprehensive in our approach. 20% of those monies need to be used to support learning loss through the implementation of evidence-based interventions. So we're going to have to be very strategic. But the monies for ESSER 3 are approximately $750,000. I know you guys have heard that number from me before. It's not a small chunk of change for us, but we really need to be careful about where we're investing that, how we're investing that, and how we can make sure we sustain every investment that we make using those monies. So it's not a one-year commitment, it's multiple years.
Where will it be coming in through? Us, through DESE?
It's coming through us,
So it's not coming in through the town?
not coming to the town.
Good. I mean, great, but it's better if we have
Sure,
control over it.
yep, so we're in really good shape here, and from everything that I have heard and shared with the town is they have every expectation of allowing us to keep every penny of that, that's not having us use it towards net school spending or anything else, so we're in good shape here.
Nice.
Perfect.
School choice, important because we're approaching sort of our lottery date. Currently, we have 30 applications for 121 slots. Not bad, not bad. We can do better. There are a couple of grades that are at or near capacity. Kindergarten specifically, we have 13 applications for 13 seats. If we get another application, there will be a lottery for kindergarten. Fourth grade, we have 1 seat open. We have 6 applications for 7 seats. And 11th grade, again, 1 seat open. We only made 2 seats available, but one of them is being sought right now. So if we have to conduct a lottery, that'll be done on July 1.
If you got an influx of kindergarten students, like 15, will you open another section and come back to us? Or are you staying there?
So right now, that's a great question, Mrs. Wadsworth, one that I haven't considered at this point, but I
It's a
think
good thing to consider.
it is a good thing to consider.
Yeah.
If we had a sudden influx of kindergarten interest, I'd have to work with Mr. Mertnook to see if we can accommodate the extra classroom at LES without displacing others. So I think there could be a chance. I don't expect that influx, although I'd welcome it. In some ways, it'd be great if those students and families committed to us for 12 years, or 13 years of education.
Thank you.
Sure. There you go.
Thank you. All right. All right, next up, we have Kate Retzel for Lee Elementary School.
I have to get up.
Yes.
All right, so since we last met, we did have kindergarten orientation. It was done a little bit differently. It was a book walk, and they had a chance to peek into their classroom and meet their teacher. So that was held at the beginning of the month. Right now, we are supporting 3 sections, as Mike said. Summer programming, we have 12 of those kindergarten folks coming for summer. It's a jump start program, we call it. It's usually only 2 weeks, more towards the end of the summer to get kids acclimated, but this year we made it a 4-week program so that those kiddos who missed out on pre-K would have a real solid chance of being in school for a month, at least of half days. We also, that is being funded primarily from the after-school grant that we had secured 2 years ago now and haven't been able to use, so we kind of just rolled it over. There are actually a little less than 40 students who have actually signed up for programming, a lot of them being little guys in either K or 1, which is essentially what probably what we need after this year. The upper grades are often unsubscribed, less subscribed than the other grades, but we've combined them. The other thing that we did differently is, usually it's a 9-to-1 program, but we made it a 9-to-3 program, so that there was remediation, which is more of your like math practice and ELO reading practice in the morning, and then we made it enrichment afternoon for all the grades, where we will have a traveling specialist who's going to go in and do some art therapy type lessons with all kids that access the summer program. We have been able to wiggle the schedule enough to invite some of those kids who don't need the remediation to also come in the afternoon, one of the afternoons, to have an expressive arts experience. But the idea is just to do enrichment and socialization in the afternoon, because kids have missed that. And they're more open now, and we can share materials and do some different things. A couple of events that have occurred is the Lee PD brought our 6th grade for a hike at Thuringham Cobble. I guess they're trying to start a new annual tradition. We did have a long week last week. Well, it was long for me because a lot of the things were dedicated to me. One of them also was dedicated to Chief Rusa, the first walk to school for walking school bus this year. I think we had close to 130 kids walk with us, so it was a good normal thing to be able to do together. This week we're just finishing off with a fun week. Lots of sunglasses, hats. Field day is tomorrow. We moved it out of the rainstorms. There is a surprise for all the kids tomorrow. It might have something to do with an ice cream truck. Thursday we're having PJ Day, except for 6th grade who has to dress for success because they're going to have their step up ceremony. We're still doing that, not feeling comfortable that we have an open outdoor space that we can accommodate all the families for step up, so we're going to do a drive-through event. And then finally we'll have Spirit Day, orange and black or Lee paraphernalia on Friday. And that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kate. I'm going to take this moment I'm going to embarrass you, Kate. I'm going to try not to cry. I want to thank you personally and professionally for your years of time at the Lee Schools as a parent, as a teacher, as a colleague, both when I was administrator there and as a colleague on the school committee. Lee Schools has been very fortunate to have you within our midst, and I wish you the very best at Muddy Brook. They're really fortunate to have you. And I hope for their sake that you're going to bring out the theme of the year, because as you know, that was my favorite part of working with you. So I wish you the very best, and I think everybody here on the committee wishes you the very best in your new job.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah.
Did they tell you you have to learn an instrument?
I already know.
She already knows a lot of
Perfect.
instruments.
What do you play?
I played
Flute.
yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I think there was a ukulele and
Yeah.
there
I
was something
played,
else.
I should say.
I have a clarinet.
Yeah, she was in the band all the way through high school. Okay, Greg, Lee Middle and High School.
All right, good evening, everyone. As you know, we're rapidly approaching the end of the school year. A few things I think that are worth mentioning since our last meeting last month. AP exams and MCAS testing have been completed not too long ago, end of last week. Big sighs of relief from everybody involved with that. We held our prom event on Friday, May 21st. It was a huge success. Luckily for us, the outdoor mask mandate was lifted just a short while before that event, so the kids were able to be out there on the field, having some dinner, some distance dancing, and you could see everybody's faces. It was really the first time that we could see everybody's faces, so that was pretty cool. Our seniors, of course, had their class night on June 3rd and graduation on June 5th, both of which were excellent events. We had 61 seniors graduate this year, and it was a nice ceremony out there. Beautiful day, a little toasty, but that's okay. We'll take it.
Yeah.
We were able to hold June Fest last Friday. Obviously, we didn't last year because we weren't in the buildings, This is, for those of you who remember, that's our annual kind of, it's a little bit different than a field day, but it's the same general idea. Again, some new faces here. So we've divided our student body into 4 houses. Think Harry Potter, you know, no Slytherins, but. And since we are the Wildcats, each house is named after a type of wildcat. And we do various things with the houses throughout the year around school spirit and various related topics like that. And it culminates with June Fest each year, where there's a competition for the House Cup. Again, think Harry Potter. And this year the Tigers won it, and first time that the Tigers have ever won the House Cup, so that was pretty cool. Our 8th grade bridging ceremony is this Thursday morning at 10 a.m. in the gym. So we have invited parents and families of the 8th grade students. Unfortunately, obviously because of some restrictions that are still in place inside the schools, that's it, it's not open to the public, but certainly family members have been invited and can come into the gym. They'll be up in the bleachers and family pods, and the students will be spaced out on the gym floor. Summer school will be July 6th through 30th here at LMHS. It's really focusing on recovery of classes from the school year this year. More info will go out with 4th quarter report cards next week. Plenty of time this year. There's a couple weeks in between. We have put out in the newsletters and stuff the date range there, so hopefully people are prepared for that. And of course, Friday is our last day of school for the year. I do want to mention one thing on a district level. We've begun the transition process from our student information system, which is the computer system that basically holds all of our student-related data, schedules, grades, discipline, attendance, biographical information, everything. It's really kind of the heart that beats for our data in the buildings. We've been using for many years now a system called MMS Vision. They have been absorbed into a larger company, so we are converting to that company's software called Focus. I mention it here because parents who use the Vision Family Portal, that will be turned off shortly after the end of the school year, and we won't get you information on the new Family Portal until just after the new school year begins. This is a major undertaking when you shift a system like this, so there's a lot of training in the works over the summer and into the new school year. I'll say it now, there will be some bumps along the way. So we thank everybody for your patience as we go through this huge shift.
Will you be running dual systems at all?
They are going to be keeping MMS and Vision available to a small number of us for several years, just in case.
For your
there's some
backup
issues.
information?
Yeah.
How many years are they taking into the system?
All of it, so 20 plus years that are in MMS right now, they're going to bring over into Focus.
And did we consider, I don't care where you went, but was there a conversation about Power School or any of that?
We didn't in this round. We did a couple years ago look at possibilities there, but because this is a successor system, and it's basically continuing the same contract,
Nice.
at the same cost as the old system, and for much greater, fully modern student information system.
Will you have a better dashboard?
It's the whole thing. It's pretty impressive. I've been in the preview for a couple weeks now, and it's going to be really good. It's going to take a little time, but it's going to be great.
Good.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Jen Norton with Special Education.
I do not have a long update. I do want to say that I've been working a lot with Mrs. Retzel and Mr. Mertnook. We have quite a lot of students who are coming to summer services, and we actually have quite a few here at the middle and high school. We have over 40 students who are going to be getting some sort of summer services, whether it's special education or related services or English language services. So we're pretty excited. We're actually going to be able to do some transportation, which we're not normally able to do as widely in the summer. So that's exciting, and I think it's what's allowing us to have more students in the summer. We're in the process of hiring some new paraprofessionals because we had 3 retirements this year. And we actually have 2 staff who previously were here but left for various reasons returning, which we are excited about. As soon as that's confirmed, I'm sure the superintendent will announce it. They just have some paperwork to finish. Aside from that, we're already beginning the data crunch for next year and looking at caseloads and starting to prep for August.
Thank you. All right, and facilities, are you reporting through order? Or is there nothing to report?
There's, not much to report from facilities, except to say that I think Jordan's team deserves a very big thank you for all the work that they did.
Yeah.
And for setting up for all the events that have taken place at both schools over the last couple of weeks. They've really gone above and beyond to make sure that this campus looks the best that it can. So I want to thank them.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank all of you guys. I think the fact that Lee Public Schools has managed to run 5 days a week for an entire school year with only a 2-week hiatus that you guys were shut is pretty amazing. And I think you've done what most of schools in Berkshire County haven't been able to do. So I want to thank you guys immensely, because I think we've been able to do, you guys have been able to do and educate kids pretty successfully. So thank you guys a lot. I appreciate it. Okay, committee reports. Finance Committee. Do we have some warrants?
We
Mr.
do.
Kinnis?
We do have some warrants. So the first warrant I'd like to present is the accounts payable, and that is in the amount of $351,406.43.
And how did the committee,
The committee has approved that amount.
okay? And do we have a motion from our committee?
I'll make a motion to accept the accounts payable for $351,406.43.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any dissents? Unanimous. Okay.
Yes, the
Next one.
second warrant was the payroll, and that number was $1,784,837.94, and that was approved by the subcommittee.
Okay, and
I make a motion to accept that as read.
I'll second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any dissent? Unanimous. Okay. Is that it?
That is
All
it.
right, Union 29. Update and review of superintendent evaluation. That is in tab number 3. So Union 29 met twice. We met the first time to go over the steps to do the evaluation, what needed to be done, and then we met a second time to go over the evaluation. So I'm just going to read through it so that everybody knows what happened. So for the professional practice goal, for engaging in coursework for business manager, Mike was found proficient. For his student learning goals, for managing the changing models during COVID era, proficient. For his district improvement goal, he was going to write a comprehensive district improvement plan. He had some action steps to get it started, which he has done. They've been working since, I think, December to January time. That was found proficient. And then if you turn yourself sideways, for standard 1, for instructional leadership, for the different things that are under indicator for the curriculum, he was found proficient. For instruction, proficient. Assessment, proficient. Evaluation, proficient. Decision and data-informed decision-making was proficient. For standard 2, which is management and operations, under indicator 2A, environment was proficient. Under indicator 2B, human resource management and development was proficient. Under indicator 2C, scheduling and management information systems was proficient. Under indicator 2D, law, ethics, and policy, proficient. Under indicator 2E, fiscal systems, proficient. Indicator, standard 3, family and community engagement. Indicator 3A, engagement was proficient. Indicator 3B, sharing responsibility was proficient. Indicator 3C, communication was proficient. Indicator 3D, family concerns was proficient. Standard 4, professional culture. Indicator 4A, commitment to high standards was proficient. Indicator 4B, cultural proficiency was proficient. Indicator 4C, communication was proficient. Indicator 4D, continuous learning was proficient. Indicator 4E, shared vision was proficient. Indicator 4F, managing conflict was proficient. Any discussion?
So,
Yes.
I'm just gonna put on the record how I feel about this. The Union 29 represents 3 of us by statute, and then 3 Tyringham people who don't interact with the superintendent. And in the past, this evaluation has been done by this full board, and somehow it got changed. I've said that repeatedly, how it's not fair to Mike to be evaluated by 3 people who don't see him. It's not fair to our board or the weight of Lee to not have a full board input.
Right.
And my question is, how is number 1 part of the superintendent's goal? To learn about being a business administrator. That's an addendum to his contract. So, but in the budget, we budget for a business administrator. So should it be in his line?
These were part of the goals that were accepted as part of his goals when we met as Union 29 back in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just maybe think we have a discussion about that.
Well, I think
Or
that-
moving the funds within the budget lines.
Yeah, and I think that also leads into the next part of our discussion, Andrea, which is the Union 29 agreement.
Yeah. I mean, you have your head of our school being evaluated by 3 people who meet twice a year.
Right,
A group.
right. Yeah. So, and I think that brings us to the next, unless, did you have more?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
Repeatedly.
And I agree with Andrea.
Yeah,
You know, I think that we should be looked at, but, you know, to the Tyringham folks, they were on the same page.
yes,
So, you know.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in this instance, there was no, disagreement.
right.
But to your point, if there ever was, how could you weight that versus this? So,
Yeah.
just want to put that out.
Yeah, I think that brings us to the next thing under old business, which is the Union 29 agreement. We pushed it off, Andrea, because when we were supposed to talk about it last time, you got caught up and you couldn't make it to the meeting, so we pushed it off till you could be here, so.
Maybe I purposely missed the meeting. I don't even remember, but.
Yeah, because I think that this is coming up again and again, and so the next step, so what we need to determine is what are the next steps, and I think one of the things that you had brought up when you had done your presentation was, do we need to create a committee, sort of a subcommittee that's going to look at this and sort of make that determination, and so I think that's a discussion that we need to have. Personally, I think that's not a bad idea, and I'm happy to be part of that committee if that's what we decide to do. Yeah.
I mean, some of the alternatives is, to revisit the agreement, to create the agreement, to find the agreement. I know we say we don't have it, but I think it's somewhere. Or to dissolve it and just tuition in the Tyringham students, guarantee a cost to them so there's no increase in the Tyringham. Their bottom number is what they approve. And so we could make that work for them within a tuition agreement, which we already have right now. And so we charge them $6,400, Mike, where the per pupil cost is $19,000,
From 2018,
18.
I think that's what.
So we don't even have current numbers. So even if we guarantee them their cost minus sped and transportation, because you have to do that separately, we could make that still work their bottom number, but take away all of this unknown rigors put on the superintendent.
So I wonder if it's worth that committee sort of sitting down and say, like, looking at those sort of different scenarios and then like presenting them, because I think that it sounds like what you're talking about is similar to what we do with Otis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe we need to sit down and like, here's scenario one, here's scenario two, and here's scenario two, and sit down with maybe Russell and the committee, their committee, and say, these are our options, and like figuring out which is the best way to do it.
Because I think it's what, Sandusfield, Otis, Richmond, New Ashford, Hancock, all have tuition agreements. Throughout the, I mean, they're, hopefully Tierney won't go to
Yeah.
Richmond or, where would they go? Berkshire Hills.
Yeah.
But we hope to keep them. That would be probably the downside of this whole thing.
Yeah.
We'd hate to lose our students. But I think if it's framed correctly,
Right.
it would be, we'd create some equity.
Yeah. So,
Just my take on it. Kind of lived it a little bit.
yeah, so I don't know, do we need to make a motion to create a subcommittee to do that?
I think you can just offer volunteers for a subcommittee.
Does anybody want to volunteer to be on a subcommittee to work on that?
I mean, I guess I kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do. So maybe it's just you and me. All right, Andrea and I will work on that.
Okay.
All right, and we'll bring it back.
No hazing for the new members.
Do you want?
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna be like volunteer.
I'm really holding out for other subcommittees, but
Yeah.
if you really need someone, I'll come on board.
You know,
just so you all know,
I'll take it. I'll join.
Kirk's gonna do it.
Yep.
All right, because we are gonna reorganize our subcommittees this
All
summer, so
right.
y'all are gonna get sucked in at some point, just so you know. All right, perfect, so I think, huh?
I said, I know.
Yeah, you're all getting sucked in. All right, so I think that's a great place for us to start, because at least we can start tackling some of these things and figuring out what's going on. Okay. So that leads us on to new business, and we have some news that I received right before the meeting that I'm going to share.
I have some new business. It's exciting for me, but maybe not so for this board. I have recently been appointed the president of the Berkshire Hills Educational Association, so I'll be heading up the union at Berkshire Hills, the school district in which I teach. And I owe my colleagues at work my full attention in that role. And I don't want to leave the door open for any conflicts of interest or ethical issues. So I will be stepping down from the board effective at the end of this meeting. So I just want to thank the constituents who put their faith in me to represent their voices. I want to thank you folks. I have learned an awful lot in this role on the board. And I want to thank the administrators and Mike, because you've really helped me learn a lot about how schools function. And I want to encourage the public to put your name in for the open seat. I know there's a lot of people having discourse online. You guys have great ideas. Step up and help out our town and our schools and do a part, to keep us running as well as we do. So thank you, folks, and sorry I had to do that, but I'm really excited about my new role that I'm serving.
Congratulations on your.
Yeah, congratulations, and thank you for, I didn't even get time to create a speech, because it hit me at the last minute, so.
Sorry. Things at the end of the school year move very, very
So thank you,
quickly.
thank you for your time on the committee, and thank you for, as you all know, this is not it's a lot of time, especially over the last year. This has been a lot of time that you've given to the committee, so thank you for your time, and so I guess Brenda, we're gonna need to do another posting. So, can we do that? Do we have to make a motion? We can just do a posting, we don't have to make it, okay. Can we put another posting up, Brenda, for a school committee, application? You have 1 year left, correct? Two 2 years, okay, so it's for a okay. So we'll need to find another person, okay. All right.
What'd you say about 7 members?
We had 7 members for a whole meeting! I got prematurely excited. All right, so the next, and then I'm sure you're all wondering why it says future meeting to be determined on the next section. And the reason for that is that the next meeting is due to be on July 13th. Mike is away at the Mass Superintendent, the yearly meeting that all the superintendents go to on the 13th. The following week, Jen and I are at the Western Mass Sped Directors meeting. So my question to the committee, to save me sending out an email and flooding your email boxes yet again, is do you want to meet in July? Because I'm not sure what we would have to discuss in July. Or would you like to forego July meeting and then meet in August? So I'm asking you all, while we're all sitting here around the table, what your preference is to do. Because if you do want to meet in July, you can all meet in July, and Randy can run the meeting as the vice chair, and you can do it on the 20th.
Why can't we do it on the 13th? I know Mike won't be here, but actually, Mike isn't part of our board.
Okay.
And July is a planning month.
Okay.
August is the month they put everything in place
Okay.
for September. And so July sometimes is late, but if there's things that come up, it can be a working month for us.
Okay.
But we can also forego it.
I don't know what, I don't know what we would have to discuss in July, unless you can think, the only thing I can think of that we would bring in July would be maybe the SMART goals that we would talk about, and which I think could hold over until August, unless anybody has anything else that they think we might need to discuss in July.
Might want to fill Chrissy's spot.
Oh, we might need to fill Chrissy's spot.
And we haven't talked about policy subcommittee negotiations, strategic plan. There's like a bunch of subcommittees that should have been meeting
Okay.
to do stuff.
All right, so we can still meet on the 13th.
Could be a 10-minute meeting.
Could be, we'll just meet without you. You can zoom in.
Maybe.
Oh, no, maybe if the law changes, you can zoom in. Okay, so then the next meeting will be on the 13th. At 7, here. And then you had mentioned something, Andrea, about we could potentially get a policy so that we didn't have to wear masks in our meeting?
You could.
We could.
Yep. You could,
We could.
because there's no mandate right now from the state. But you'd want to mirror, we want to be good examples
I know.
for students. So I don't know if students are allowed, this is totally walking along,
Yeah.
right? If the students are allowed to drink and eat, you could have a bottle and you could have something to take your mask off.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what is gonna happen in September with masks with students?
We don't know.
We're waiting on guidance. Early indications seem that they may still be required for the elementary kids, but maybe not so for middle and high school kids, which is sort of almost a flip from the original tack that was taken, but I think it's about vaccinations. So
It's funny, when I was driving here, I was thinking, how could they do that? You could have it off-site, and it wouldn't be at the school grounds, a meeting, but, we don't know.
Yeah.
But as a board, you could say that we could talk about it, how people felt.
Yeah. I don't know.
well, right now the school committee policy is that in these
the
buildings you
buildings,
need to
you
have
have
masks.
to have
So
Yeah.
we'd
So
have
to have it. Yeah.
update that policy
Right.
Or have a meeting outside.
or meet outside.
Oh, that's the other option. I'll think about it. Okay, all right. So we're meeting on the 13th at 7 o'clock, probably here, unless I figure out the outside option. Okay, any other?
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, of
Because I feel
course.
like I was the only one talking about
Yeah.
that meeting. If the board decided they didn't want to meet,
Yes,
that would be fine too. Maybe we have Brenda look at what we did in July of last year and see what that agenda was, and if it's light.
I think we met a lot in July of
Because
last
of
year
COVID.
because of COVID, that's the problem, yeah. I think we'd have to look at 2 years ago in July.
So maybe we'll see what the board members like to do.
What do the rest of the board members want to do? I know everybody goes on vacation, I don't.
Well, I'm going on a whole lot of vacations, but July 13th, I am free. So
I've got an evening shift, but I'll get that rescheduled with somebody else, so I'll be here.
Okay. Chrissy doesn't get to vote because she won't be here later. Aaron, what about you?
13th is fine with me.
All right. Randy?
Yeah, 13th is fine. I don't have plans, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this? Brenda, can I add yet one more thing to your ever so busy plate? You look back 2 years ago and see what the agenda says.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, July of 2019, and see what the agenda says. And if it's a light agenda, and what I will do is I will send the agenda out to the committee. And then we will take a vote, and you will send your vote to Brenda.
Actually, you can do this outside of open meeting law because you're determining a meeting.
Okay, then you can send it to me. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? So Brenda, you can send it to me, and then then you guys can send your vote back to me, and we'll make a determination. So we may or may not be meeting in July. I will let you know. How wishy-washy is that?
It's clear as mud.
That's me.
Straight as the letter S.
That's me. All right. And that's the end of the agenda. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any dissent? Unanimous. 7:45.
So Brenda,